When you think about the iconic American muscle cars of the late 1960s to early 1970s, cars such as the Dodge Charger, the Plymouth Roadrunner, the Chevrolet Chevelle, and the Pontiac GTO immediately come to mind. These cars were fast, loud, and menacing looking when they were going down the road. These traffic light to traffic light street brawlers are synonymous with the generation of automotive history that is considered to be the glory days of the muscle car. But there is one muscle car that seems to have been forgotten by history, and that car is the AMC Rebel. Now, everybody knows about the Javelins and the AMXs that AMC built back in the 1960s and 1970s. But go mention the Rebel around a group of enthusiasts and just see how many truly remember the car. The Rebel was a muscle car that has seemingly been forgotten by history, but it's actually one of the most unique and the most interesting and underrated American muscle cars of the time. So if you want to learn all there is to know about the forgotten AMC Rebel, then stay tuned to the end of this video to get the full condensed history lesson on this car. Welcome to Rare Cars. This is the channel where we break down the world's most fascinating performance vehicles and what makes them so unique. If you want to learn more about other cars like the Aston Martin V600 or the Bill Thomas Cheetah, then subscribe to the channel because we got plenty of more content coming in the near future. But with that out of the way, let's get to what you really came to this video for, the AMC Rebel, also America's forgotten muscle car. See, before the late 1960s, AMC was not a brand synonymous with performance at all. In the early 1960s, when GM, Ford, and Dodge were stuffing the biggest engines that they could into their muscle car lineups, AMC continued to focus on building boring family cars, to be honest. The old management at AMC strictly adhered to the auto industry's anti-racing resolution. AMC was a stickler for following these guidelines when other American manufacturers weren't really putting the same amount of effort towards following said guidelines. Chevy, Ford, and Dodge were sticking the largest engines that they could into pretty much every vehicle in their lineup. They were following the rules about as well as the Soviet Union followed the Strategic Arms Limitations Treaty. But by 1967, upper-level management at AMC saw major changes. They finally got the hint that Americans were looking for cars that could go fast and not just drive a family around. So the decision was made to actually make a play in the muscle car and pony car space. Now, it should be noted that AMC is famous for making the Javelin and the AMX, and the Rebel sort of got pushed to the side as far as history goes. But in 1967, the AMC Rebel was officially born. Based off the four-door AMC Ambassador chassis, this was the first real muscle car offering from American Motors. The new squared-off design of the AMC Rebel, which was previously known as the Rambler Rebel in 1967, was a bit of a departure from the normal styling utilized by AMC. Now, when these cars first came out, they were actually criticized for looking a lot like other vehicles from other manufacturers. And when you compared the Rebel's styling to B-body mopars like the Roadrunner or the GTX, you could certainly see a resemblance. Even though technically the 68 GTX came out after the AMC Rebel did, they are very similar looking vehicles. The Rebel burst onto the scene with offerings of a base inline-six motor, which nobody really cared about, and also the 343 cubic inch V8 for the full muscle car effect. The 343 cubic inch V8 was AMC's own power plant that pumped out 280 horsepower and a respectable 365 foot-pounds of torque. These were very respectable numbers for the time when compared to cars like the 289 Hypo Mustang and other low-displacement engines. But when compared to larger displacement V8s from other manufacturers, like the 427, the 426 Hemi, motors like that, then the Rebel was certainly down on power. Strangely enough though, for a muscle car, the AMC Rebel had a few innovative safety features that were very odd. These included a steering column that was designed to collapse downward during a crash, and also a dashboard that was designed to be pushed back as far as possible towards the firewall, so their occupants could have as much room as possible in the event of an accident. In 1968, the Rebel ditched any mention of the Rambler name, as that branding probably hurt the car a bit more than it helped it. Having your muscle car being associated with family sedans probably wasn't the most innovative way to help sell the vehicles. 1968 also saw slight facelifts to the front and the rear of the Rebel that were made to accommodate the new federal motor vehicle standards, but no one cares about those changes. The most important changes happened under the hood. Two new V8 options were available for the Rebel in 1968. The 290 cubic inch Typhoon V8 that made 225 horsepower, and the potent new 315 horsepower 390 cubic inch motor that was also being incorporated into the new AMXs. These new engine options were added specifically to offer other performance versions of the Rebel within different budgets. Into 1969, the model saw very little changes, but 1970 was quite the opposite. On the exterior, the 1970 Rebel saw further design changes, specifically to the roofline that actually had a radical change made to it. The rear end and the front end also had some revisions made to them as well. In 1970, for the base model Rebels, there was a major shakeup under the hood that was happening. Pretty much the entire engine lineup was overhauled. The standard 290 cubic inch Typhoon V8 was replaced with a 304 cubic inch V8 that made 210 horsepower. The 343 cubic inch V8 was then replaced with a 360 cubic inch V8 that made 290 horsepower, and the 390 cubic inch V8 now made 325 horsepower for the base models. But 1970 saw the introduction of the fastest and the most famous AMC Rebel, the Machine. The Machine was about as American as it gets, coming in its famous red, white, and blue color scheme. On the exterior, the Machine also got a huge air grabber hood scoop and a hood-mounted tach because, well, why not? The Machine was built as a collaboration between American Motors and Hurst, and the Machine actually ended up receiving a tuned 390 cubic inch motor that made 340 horsepower and 430 foot-pounds of torque. To get there, the Machine had been fitted with new heads, a new cam, a whole new valve train, a new intake, new exhaust, and a 690 CFM 4-barrel carb. The stock Machine made 15 horsepower more than the regular 390 models, and all that power was put down through either a 4-speed Borg-Warner T10 manual or an automatic transmission. The manual cars actually also came with Hurst floor shifters, which is pretty cool. And all the power was put to the pavement through an American Motors twin-grip differential with either a 354 or a 391 gear set. As a result of these performance upgrades, the AMC Rebel turned the quarter at around 14.4 in bone stock form, which isn't a bad number, it's just not particularly extraordinary compared to some of the other big displacement V8s that the other manufacturers were turning out at the time. However, as part of the marketing campaign for the Machine, AMC offered customers a chance to buy some aftermarket go-fast parts as well directly through them. AMC would sell you a 5-to-1 rear set of gears for drag racing and a questionably named surface kit to help boost the power to near 400 horsepower. That's a 60 horsepower increase over the stock motor. The service kit also includes some various suspension components as well. These mods allowed the Machines to close the quarter mile in around 12.7 seconds when they were fully modified. 12.7 seconds in 1970 was actually pretty fast for the time. A 440 RT Charger in 1970 could turn the quarter mile in about 13.9. So to put in perspective, the AMC Rebel with all the go-fast parts was a whole 1.2 seconds quicker. In total, 1,000 of the AMC Rebel the Machines were built in the quintessential red, white, and blue color scheme. After that, more could be ordered just with normal colors that weren't as cool. Total production came in somewhere around 2,300 vehicles in the one-year run of the Machine in its truest form. All in all, the Rebel has sort of been looked over in the era of the muscle car heyday. Now yes, while the Rebel wasn't the fastest, or the meanest looking, or even the best handling muscle car, it still does deserve some recognition as being the ugly duckling of the time. Yes, it's not the best objectively for the time, but enthusiasts like you and I just can't help but love it for what it is. It's a shame that so many of these cars were scrapped over the years because you hardly ever see them now even at car shows, let alone on the road. And that is the abridged history lesson of the AMC Rebel. So if you enjoyed this video, we would greatly appreciate it if you could drop a like and also share this video with other enthusiasts. It really helps us out. Also, please make sure you're subscribed to the Rare Cars YouTube channel and smash the notification bell for more documentary-styled content just like this on the world's most interesting cars. Until next time, enthusiasts.